Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your December 1st through the 7th, 2019 General Love Reading. It's Keaghan. If you are returning, it's good to see you guys again. I've missed you. And if you're new here, welcome. Enjoy your reading. I'm doing weekly readings during December to see what you guys think. And then at the end of the month, I'll put a poll up on the community tab on the channel so you guys can weigh in and let me know if you want me to continue doing weekly readings, switch to bi-weekly, or go back to the longer monthly readings. So these weekly readings are going to be a little bit shorter than what you might be used to from me, because we're only looking at 7 days worth of energy at a time. There's only so much you can clear during 7 days. A lot can happen during 7 days, but there's only so much you can actually process out. So I did shuffle these decks before sitting down to film, shuffle them a little bit more. I have a couple of other decks that are off to the side. I also have my Oracle deck that we'll wrap things up with. So sit back, let's check in, Leo, see what's going on with you guys. I just did the reading for Aries and it was super heavy, so I'm hoping you guys are in a better headspace and better energy. That reading was one of the heaviest that I've done this round. So hopefully my energy is going to pick up and you guys are going to be doing well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this deck off to the side. We're going to start my Rider-Waite. I've actually been doing a specific spread with some of the other readings, but I actually don't want to do that with you guys. I want to switch things up and see if I can get some of that energy to clear out. I'm just going to shuffle through and see what wants to come out for you, Leo. And then we'll just clarify as we go. Have a fun time here, I'm hoping. I do feel energetically a little bit different going into your reading than I did with Aries, because that reading was actually really heavy. Good cards. You have Temperance coming out first. This is a good space to find yourself in. Let's see what else wants to come out. Okay. Whoa. All right. You guys are chatty. You're talkative. I like it. This makes sense. I feel like I need to pick a direction for this card, though. We'll decide after we walk through this. Okay, we'll see what energetically wants to happen here. Oh, look, you had a hidden card. Maybe that's why this card's off to the side. All right, well, Leo, let's walk through these. Then we'll use the other deck to clarify things as I need to. Actually, I shuffled this deck. I want to use this deck, so I'm going to shuffle a little bit while I'm talking to you guys. So first card out, as you saw, was Temperance. I do feel the need for Leo. I do feel the need to just specify that Temperance does represent the sign of Sagittarius. I think some of you just need to hear that. I don't typically do that in my readings. You know that if you watch me, because I think sometimes people can just get so caught up on the signs, but felt the need to mention that. So if you are dealing with a Sagittarius, if you're a Sagittarius Crosswatcher, that's just a confirmation for you that this reading is absolutely for you, okay? Here's what I'm getting. I feel like there is a relationship right now. You do have the Two of Cups underneath this Temperance. I feel like there's been a balancing within a relationship. This feels very present to me. It doesn't feel like something that's future focused. For some of you it might be, but I feel for the majority of you this is something that is recent. There's been a relationship that has either been balanced or you found yourself in a relationship that hold on, I'm gonna tilt my camera just a bit. It's driving me crazy. Okay. Okay, two scenarios here that I'm getting. One, there was a relationship that was not in balance, a relationship that had some issues, but it has been put into balance because underneath this you have the Two of Cups. This represents a partnership, a unified love situation in which, things are healthy, things are going well, things are balanced. That's for some of you. For others of you, it's something where you found a relationship, and this is something that's new, and you're actually realizing how a healthy, balanced, non-toxic relationship feels, okay? Regardless of how this resonates with you specifically, I'm happy with this. I think this is a good situation for you to be in. Now, this is some interesting energy. We're going to have to do some clarifying here, but I'm going to walk you through what these cards mean. The Emperor coming out reversed here. This is a situation in which there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of domination. This is something that represents a very inflexible, uncompromising type of energy. Underneath that, you have the Three of Swords. This represents really intense heartbreak, emotional pain, lots of hurt. It's the level of sorrow around a situation. Now, these two things do not make sense, okay? What I feel from this is that this is something from the past. Now, again, I do feel like I'm reading two different types of situations here. So for some of you, this is what this relationship was before it got into this type of situation. It was very tumultuous. It was very lots of fighting, lots of conflict, lots of pain. Something then happened to make it end up like this. For others of you, this is a past relationship. This is maybe what you were used to. This is what you're coming out of, and you found this new thing. I want to start here with this middle energy. I just want to see what wants to come out to clarify this, okay? So let's take a look at the Emperor reversed first. Clarify the Emperor reversed. Okay, you have the Chariot coming out as a clarifier there. It's interesting because the Chariot for me is all about success, taking action, discipline, putting in the work, having willpower, holding yourself accountable. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. I want to take a look at this Three of Swords. This did come out on its side. I felt pulled to it more like this. Seven of Wands here coming out as a clarifier for this. This represents a situation where something's being challenged. There's competition for something. All right, let me clarify the Seven of Wands and then we'll dive into this. This is a very complex reading for you, Leo. Clarify the Seven of Wands. Wow. The Empress coming out also reversed for this Emperor. Okay. I don't know how much clearer that got, but we're going to move this stuff off to the side here. I'm going to move this as well. Okay. Let's take a look here. I'm going to put this Empress there with this. See if we can make some sense out of this. I actually really enjoy readings like this that are kind of complicated. So this is good. Okay. We have the Emperor and the Empress coming out together. This represents this Two of Cups. Now, what I was saying earlier, this is showing that it's true. For whatever reason, these two people, when this relationship first started, they weren't in a situation in which they were expressing the best of themselves. The Empress, when she's reversed, is very smothering, very selfish, very dependent. The Emperor is very cold, detached, inflexible, very angry, dominating. Okay, this was not healthy. This was very painful. This hurt a lot. I feel like there was a decision made, there was action taken based on that. The Seven of Wands, it just felt too hard. It felt like you had to protect yourself. It could be that there was, there were other people who were involved in this. This just didn't work, right? This as it was didn't work. But these two people are actually meant to be. They just had to find a way of balancing it. Let's talk about this, and then we'll take a look at this. You have this Three of Wands here. This card has come out reversed, and the Queen of Cups is underneath it, also reversed. Now, the Queen of Cups, when she's reversed, this represents a situation, again, much like the Empress, where there are some dependency issues. So this is a very codependent type of energy. With this Three of Wands, this represents a situation in which there were unexpected delays around a situation, or there was a lack of foresight. There was a lack of planning through on something. This Five of Wands came out on its side, and I said I felt like I needed to pick a direction on it. I think, this card should be upright. Again, this is another card of competition, conflict, disagreements, tension. That's what all of this is. These two people, right? This Emperor and Empress, because they were reversed with each other, There's all this pain. There's all this, you know, tension. There's all this negative energy. This was something that was actually fairly toxic. I think what's interesting here with this Queen of Cups being reversed, the other thing about this is this card, when she's reversed, it represents a situation in which someone has made the decision to focus on themselves, taking care of themselves, loving themselves, dealing with their own inner feelings. I also feel a connection with that energy around this Chariot. It's almost like there's all of this craziness around this relationship. There's all this intensity. There's all of this struggle. But underneath it, there's this awareness, right? That this is something that is actually meant to be. These two people are meant to be here. It's if you believe in the notion of twin flames, I'm feeling a lot of twin flame energy here, where it's like these two people show up into each other's lives, right? This Emperor and this Empress meet, but they're not at their best. They haven't dealt with their own stuff. They're coming into this connection reversed. Basically expressing all of their pain, all their negativity, okay? And because of this, because this is a true pair, because this is, you know, these two people are meant to be, when they come in and they're both expressing these negativities, it's so volatile, it's so explosive, there's all this pain that comes in with it, okay? There's a situation here where this relationship just, it couldn't work at this point. There was an unexpected delay to this because coming together and having the intensity of this connection made all of this stuff come to the surface that had to be dealt with. There was a decision made, right? This Chariot, there was a decision made, there was action taken to have the control, have the discipline, the willpower to step away from this, deal with your own stuff, deal with your own things, take care of yourself, love yourself, focus on things that needed to be healed to find balance. I think you guys have done that. So okay, again, like this whole reading, I felt like I'm reading for two groups of you. I feel like some of you have dealt with this, right? I think for some of you, you're going to listen to this middle part and you're going to be like, that's exactly what it was like. This is exactly what I did. And then we found our way back to each other and things are good now. We've worked through things. This would represent to me, with this type of energy, these two cards represent to me a reunion, okay? Things coming back together. For others of you, you might be in this. You could be very much in this situation in which you know that you've met your ideal match. You know that you've met your partner. You've met your other, like your counterpart. But there's all this craziness going on. There's all this intensity. There's all of this, like, insanity is what this feels like. And you don't know what to do. You're in a place of not knowing what to do. You have to make the choice to focus on yourself, deal with your own things, focus on loving yourself, step out of this, right? This is totally what separation is for, right? Because if these two people don't separate, if these two people do not take the time apart to deal with their own things so that they can come back together like this, right? If they don't do that, then this can be destroyed. This can absolutely be something that is destroyed. The only way that you can have this type of divine connection that is balanced and is healthy is by taking the time apart before trying to come back together. This is a really intense reading. Okay, I'm going to switch decks. Where to begin here? Okay, I really want to just focus on this stuff, okay? This is the ultimate good outcome. What's important in this middle part, honestly, is that you need to know that this stuff, this intense negative stuff, the only reason that that is happening within this connection is because both of the people involved here need to do their own work. Okay, so what I want to look at is how do we get from this to here, okay, because that's what's really important. I just want to see what else wants to come out. So I'm going to focus the energy mostly on this Two of Cups and Temperance, okay? Big stack of cards coming out. I'm going to take them because I think I need them. You have the Ace of Wands coming out reversed. This is actually a good situation. It does represent delay. It does represent, something that might take a while. But the other thing that's good is there's something that's starting to emerge from this. There's a new way of thinking. I think for some of you, you might actually just be becoming aware of what this connection truly is, realizing what this connection is. You have the Three of Cups here. It's come out upright. We'll talk a little bit about that. This is another thing that came out with that Aries reading. I think this might just be true for fire signs in general. Lean into your friendships. Lean into those connections. This is intense. This has been heavy, okay? You need to step away from this relationship. You need to give this a break. You both need to go to like your own corners, deal with your stuff, figure things out. Leo, for you, one of the ways that you can help to navigate that is to reconnect into your friendships. Think about what you're like in your friendships. Think about how you treat your friends. Think about, you probably have friends that have little quirks, have things that they do, have things that they say, or the ways that they behave that might annoy you. But you don't end up in these huge explosive fights with those friends, right? The reason that you have that type of intensity, those huge explosive types of interactions with this person is because you're triggering that within each other. You're highlighting those areas that hurt, that aren't healed, that need to have energy put into repairing those things, finding closure so that you can come together and not have that be something that exists between the two of you. Reconnecting to your friendships will remind you who you truly are. This is something that's very important, okay? I think that might be what this new way of thinking is also connected to, is realizing that you have to look at your other relationships, figure out how to exist within them, find comfort and support within them, but also look at how you are within them. I feel like that's very important. Looking at how you exist within those connections, how you exist within your friendships and your connections with other people, it's going to remind you who you truly are. It's almost like these two people in their actual everyday connections, they're upright. When this Emperor goes out, they're interacting with their friends and family, they're the Emperor upright. When this Empress goes out, they're interacting with their friends and family, they're upright. When they try to come together, they flip. Okay? So reconnecting with those friends and those other connections, getting out there having fun, it just helps you to remember who you truly are. Because these two people, how they are in this relationship, it's not who they truly are. It's how they are in this relationship, because this relationship is actually designed to force them to deal with the stuff that they hide, that they can't hide from each other. They can't hide the pain. They can't hide the stuff that they're scared of with each other. It's brought right to the surface. But in their other relationships, they don't show that stuff. You guys don't show it, okay? The Moon card, reversed. It's basically what I'm talking about, okay? You have to deal with any repressed emotions. You have to release all the fears that you have around commitment, around abandonment. You have to deal with those things. This card coming out reversed is actually, I like it being reversed in this situation because it represents actually dealing with those things. Okay, releasing those fears, having those repressed emotions come to the surface, which is what's happening here, so that they can be dealt with, they can be processed through. That is how this stuff, right? This self-love, this Queen of Cups, when you get into that place where you're actually dealing with yourself, those are the things that are going to have to be dealt with in order to get to this place, okay? Now, again, for some of you, you're back together, right? This is just a confirmation to you because when you got back together, when you had that reunion, it felt so different. I think for some of you, you're not sure, like, well, can I trust this? This is so radically different than it was, right? How can this be so different than it was when we were together before? Why? When is the fight going to happen again? When is everything going to fall apart again? So for those of you who are in that situation, this is just confirmation to you that, no, you know what? You did what you needed to do. If you've come back together and this relationship feels radically different than it did before, you did the work that you needed to do and you got the reunion. You have this really balanced, healthy relationship. You have the Six of Coins coming out here. I love this. as a card coming out as well in terms of clarifying this, because the Six of Coins is a place where it's balanced, right? Like what you give, you get back in return. It's about sharing. It's generosity. This is a situation in which, you know, things are good, they're healthy, they're stable. This is a really beautiful reading. I'm so super excited that you guys are getting a good reading, because I've had a couple of really heavy ones. And, you know, this is heavy. If you're in the middle of this, I'm not diminishing it. I understand that this is really intense. This is heavy. This hurts. But the ultimate outcome of it, as long as you do take the time out of this, here's what I want to say. And I feel very drawn to say this, okay? In this type of connection where you know 100% that this person is your match, you feel it in your bones, right? To the very core of who you are. You understand that this is your counterpart. It's so tempting to want to stay in it, thinking, well, you know what, this will stop, this will end, you know, we'll figure out how to deal with this, we'll get through this, we'll find a way of turning this around. The only way to deal with this, the only way to deal with this type of situation is to make the choice to walk away from it. Okay, like if you look at this card, this way or that way, right? They're trying to make that decision. You have to go away from this relationship, deal with yourself. You have to deal with yourself. The other person has to go away, deal with yourself. You have to have a period of separation. Because if you try to just stay in it, if you try to just force it, if you try to just make it work, this stuff doesn't go away, because you're so focused on trying to fix the relationship, you're not focused individually on fixing yourself. There's so many things that are going wrong within the connection that you aren't realizing what the true cause of those things are. The things that are the cause of those are all this stuff that I talked about with the moon reversed. Those repressed emotions, all those fears, that confusion that you have internally about wanting to be with this person, but also being terrified of being in a relationship with them. Okay? You have to deal with those things, and you can't deal with those things inside of this. You have to go outside of this, deal with those things. When you do that, all that clears, and you get all this beautiful stuff over here. Again, for some of you, you're already here, and congratulations if you're resonating with that. Congratulations on doing what you need to do in order to have this and have this connection with this person. For those of you who are in this, you have to step away. You have to let this breathe. You have to go and explore yourselves individually. Know that doing that is not going to cost you. These two are a pair. These two are divine counterparts. The Empress goes with the Emperor. Okay? You're not going to lose this person by taking the time that you need to deal with these things. These things, these emotions, these repressed feelings, these fears, it's preventing these two people from coming together. You have to clear this first. You have to clear that to stop this pain, stop the fighting, stop all of this conflict, feeling like you know. It's interesting because what I get here is these two people are so drawn together, but they also feel so much of a need to protect themselves from each other, defend themselves from each other, because of all this stuff that exists in the middle. Okay, this is a really intense reading. This is a lot for like 1 week. I don't think this is something that's going to like clear itself up in a week, but it could very well be that for some of you during that first week of December, that might be when you get this reunion, when things actually do come back together, or it could be when you make this decision to finally like give this some breathing room and walk away from it. Okay, let's go to the Oracle deck. What advice or guidance do you have for Leo for the first week of December 1st through the 7th, 2019, for Leo regarding this twin flame relationship? Any advice or guidance for Leo? If not, I'll go through and find one for you guys, okay? I think it's a little bit confused in terms of energy because, like I said, I feel 100% like I'm reading for two groups of you. Some of you which are just wrapping this up, and some of you that are just going into it. Okay, there's one. Let's see if another one wants to come out. Okay, well, this one is absolutely for the group of you that need to give it some breathing room. How about for the group that have just reunited? Okay. Okay. So for those of you that are in this and are resisting feeling like, doing what you know you need to do, making the choice to focus on yourself, step away from this, deal with your own things, okay? Card coming out says, when I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. You do have to surrender to this, okay? There's a natural order to how these things tend to play out. Separation is one of them. For those of you who are coming into this having that reunion, I honor how I want to feel. I think that's really how you got to the place of being able to reconnect to this person, is actually owning how you feel and also honoring how you want to feel instead, okay? This is a very beautiful reading. I hope that this finds its way to the people that need to hear it. I hope that you do take the advice. Do not try to make this work until you've taken the time to work on yourselves. That is what's most important here. And again, for those of you who find yourself here and this is just confirmation that things feel radically different than they once did, trust that, feel it, be okay with it. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted to manifest. Congratulations on getting to that point. Again, I'm super excited to have done this reading. I love you guys. Leo, I hope that when we check in again for the second week of December, I hope that things are going well. If you liked this reading, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. And again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, take a moment to subscribe, because I am going to be doing those polls at the end of the month just to see what you guys want in terms of frequency for the readings. And take care of yourselves. Really, this is something that's very intense, and dealing with dealing with ourselves and the stuff that we bring into relationships, especially when someone has really put the mirror on us, showing us the stuff that we bring into relationships, that's very heavy and it's very hard to deal with and very challenging to navigate. So be kind to yourself. Focus on loving yourself and taking care of yourself. All right, Leo, I'll see you soon. Bye.